I just went to Ann Arbor together for the weekend, and mainly we went there because there's loads of vegan food, bookstores, and basically everything that is my jam. Ended up being a super cool trip, but there wasn't really as much to do as I thought there would, and also I think COVID might be a lot worse there, so a lot of stuff was closed. Like where I live, we can eat inside in restaurants, and there we couldn't, so everything was takeout, eating in our car, eating in the hotel room, whatever. But I have some books, so let me show you what I got. And then I have one book that I finished reading that I just thought I would throw into this video to talk about. So I got 2 fiction books, and this one was from a used bookstore. It is called East of the Mountains by David Gutcherson. And basically I've always wanted to read Snow Falling on Cedars, I think is the title of the book that I really want to read. But they didn't have it at this used bookstore that we went to. But they did have this one, and I actually thought this sounded more interesting. So basically it's 1997, harvest time in central Washington, a rich apple and pear growing region. Ben Givens, recently widowed, is a retired heart surgeon, once admired for his steadiness of hand, his precision, his endurance. He has terminal colon cancer. While Ben does not readily accept defeat, he is determined to avoid suffering rather than engage in it. And so, accompanied by his 2 hunting dogs, he sets out through the mythic American West, sage deserts, yawning canyons, dusty ranches, vast orchards, on his last hunt. The main issue for Ben is that as a doctor, he had been tactical, and so it would be with his death. But he hadn't considered the persuasiveness of memory, the promise he made to his wife Rachel, the love of his life during World War II, or life's mystery. On his journey, he meets an old couple who are forever, a drifter offering left-handed advice that might lessen the pain, a veterinarian with a touch only a heart surgeon would recognize, a rancher bent on destruction, a migrant worker who tests Ben's abilities to understand, and just when he thinks there's no turning back, nothing to lose that wasn't lost, his power of intervention is called upon and his very identity tested. I think that sounds so good, and even better than Snow Falling on Cedars. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And then we went to this bookstore called Nicola's, I think is how you say it, and basically that is a bookstore we went to because I have this book of bookstores, and it was in my book of bookstores. So I try to visit them, and I write down the date of when I visited. And when we first arrived there, outside they had all these books that were like on clearance, and there were so many good ones. I ended up only getting clearance books, and I think I only spent $36 there, and I got 4 books from there, I think. But anyway, one of them is Kate Atkinson's Big Sky, and basically it's about this guy, Jackson Brody, who relocated to a seaside village. Sounds like such a good summer read. It's picturesque, but there's something dark lurking behind the scenes. So anyway, we'll see that one. Those are my 2 fiction books. I got 3 nonfiction books. So the first one is a signed copy of Notes from a Public Typewriter, and this is from Literati Bookstore in Ann Arbor. And basically, when this couple opened the bookstore fairly recently, I can't remember what year, but I feel like it was like in the 2000s, they set up a typewriter, and they loaded it with paper, no directions, anything. They kind of just wanted to see what would happen. And it really turned out into this kind of like Post Secret. I don't know if you guys know that podcast, but this kind of thing where people just would like have this cathartic experience with a typewriter. And some would write really funny things. Some would write serious things. People got engaged through the use of the typewriter. I mean, it just became this really community building piece in the bookstore. And so this book was created basically with the different things that people wrote at the typewriter, and then occasionally there's like an essay from the bookstore owner. And I think my favorite thing that was written on the typewriter, let me see if I can find it, "We are all stories in the end." I thought that was so cool. The next book that I got that I had been wanting to read, but it was also on clearance, is The Great Pretender by Susanna Callahan. I read her other book. I thought it was fine, Brain on Fire. But this one sounds really interesting to me. It's basically in 1973, there's this doctor and he convinces all these people to like basically commit themselves to a mental institution, even though they are like a mental hospital, even though they're like fine, like there's nothing wrong with them. And they had to prove their sanity to get out. And then basically this is like kind of like going undercover to see what it's like in a mental hospital in the 70s. And it says their undercover mission would change our understanding of madness forever. I'm super interested in this because I used to work with children who had a lot of mental illness issues, and mental illness has just been always something that I'm really interested in. And I just know that horrible things are probably going to happen in this book because things were not ideal in the 70s, at least as in regards to like mental health. The next book I got is a good segue into the graphic novels that are coming next. This is a book called Underground Worlds by David Farley, and I loved so much. I think it's called Underground by Will Hunt. I just think it's so cool, all of the secret places that are around. And this takes you through the world, starting in Europe. And it just goes through a lot of things that are underground. And it's really interesting that so many of them that I've read, I'm not super far in this book, but many of them were discovered just by like teenagers, like not even meaning to discover anything. I think this one, this was in Rome, Italy. Basically this teenage boy was just playing. It was around 1480 and he fell through a crack in the ground. So they had to go and rescue him. And when they rescued him, they found this like super beautiful, like ornate underground area that no one knew about. And it was kind of like an underground palace. You can see like there's really cool tunnels and stuff. So yeah, I find this book so interesting and I love how many pictures it has. So not a graphic novel, but like loads of pictures. I got 2 graphic novels. Both are nonfiction because I'm finding that graphic novels are cool, but nonfiction graphic novels are my jam. So the first one is The Imitation Game, which I've watched the movie, but this is basically on like breaking the code and all that in World War II, during World War II. So there's that one. And then this one is so great too. Like even my mom started reading it and she doesn't even like graphic novels. I have the book Sapiens, but this is the graphic novel version. I haven't read Sapiens yet in either version. I started this one and it's so funny and so interesting and I've learned so much already. But yeah, it just tells about like the evolution of humans and stuff like that. I thought this page was cool. It kind of gives like little character cards for the different human species that we had, like, you know, before Homo sapiens kind of took over. But I think this book discusses like why Homo sapiens took over and like how we started off just kind of being like just regular animals, and then we kind of like gained power or whatever in the animal community. And then the final thing, well, I bought this shirt as well. Well, actually this was a birthday gift, even though my birthday is not till May. I got 2 shirts from this store. I don't know how to say it. It's the Swedish Fox store. I have like an adorable Arctic fox. I have a backpack that I already had from there, and then we went to Ann Arbor and there's an entire store just of them, which I hadn't seen before. So I got this, which was 75% off, and another sweater that was 75% off, and then like a little wallet thing. And anyway, then from this comic book store that we went to, which is where I got the graphic novels and, well, one of the graphic novels and some other stuff. These are like little feminist playing cards. I think they're so adorable. So you can like be playing cards and there's little feminist characters on your cards. Like, how cute. So anyway, those are the things I got on my trip. I did want to quickly also do a mini review of, what was the book? Healthy as Fuck, I think is what it's called. And I really liked it. It kind of reminded me of Ranjan Chatterjee. Just like making health simple and going back to the basics and not stressing yourself out over like calories and weighing yourself all the time and blah, blah, blah. So this book I felt was really, really good at the beginning, and it's hilarious too. It's called like Healthiest Book. Of course, it's going to be hilarious. So, she starts off the book just saying like people want to lose weight so they'll feel good, like look good and all this stuff. Like that is crap. Like you need to feel good about yourself now, whatever size you are, whatever you don't like about yourself, like just like embrace it. Just live your life, you know? And so she talked about just spending time making sure that you're happy the way you are now. Like just dance, feel comfy in your own skin, do your thing, whatever. I thought that was super healthy to say like, hey, we're not even going to talk about these other things until you get your head on straight, right? And then she had 7 habits, which I don't know if I can remember all of them, but the one that I want to focus on is half my plate of vegetables, because as a nearly vegan, I do eat loads and loads of vegetables. Like I have so much fiber in my diet. But I think that I want to just double check every day that every meal has lots of vegetables, because you could easily do like vegan junk food and stuff like that, and like you could not eat very many vegetables. So I think it's just like going back to making sure that you're eating really clean and really like close to the earth and whole food, plant-based, all that stuff. The other thing that I really need to work on, and I've done really well the past week, is just making exercise a regular habit, whatever that means for you. Like it could be like super serious marathon training, or it could be going for a walk. I mean, like there's so much, and it has to be what you enjoy, what you're going to do every day, whatever. So for me this week, I've just been doing 30 minutes every day. That's not a big deal. It's not hard for me. It's just like doing something easy to get me into the habit of doing it so that later I can make it harder. And most of that has been walking on a treadmill at the gym, because then I can like go at a faster speed than what I would if I'm just outside wandering around, and I can move the incline, and I have this whole like thing that I do. I've also been like dancing a lot, just like blaring the music, random dance parties. At the hotel, my mom and I swam quite a bit, so those are the 2 things that I'm mainly focusing on. But other ones that she mentioned are like mindfulness and meditation, getting a good night's sleep, keeping like in check your portion sizes and stuff like that, meal planning, which I'm gonna do after I'm done posting this video, and yeah, just all of that sort of stuff. And she just spent a little bit of time on each habit and how it's just the sum of all these habits that are really going to get you to the place you want to be, and just balance between the habits. So I really liked it. It was really entertaining and funny, and it made me laugh. And it also really encouraged me to make changes. The only thing I did not like is I felt that she was very out of touch with like American women. I feel like it was definitely written for women, and I think the author is American. She might be Canadian, actually, now that I say that. I think she is Canadian. Regardless, she wrote it for basically a middle class or upper middle class community. I would even say that it's more of an upper middle class book. She many times throughout the book would talk about how important it is to take care of yourself, and I like completely agree with that. But I felt the way she worded it was just like there's no other choice. You have to take care of yourself. You have to like, which I agree with, it was the wording. She talked about how you should like set firm boundaries at work so that you're not like working way too many hours and all this stuff. And I just felt like if you are a single mom working maybe a professional job and a side gig, or maybe a few like lower paying jobs, you are literally working, taking care of your kids, sleeping, and there's not much time for anything else. And for her to just demand that like there's no other option, then you need to tell your boss you can't work so much. Like I feel like she's very out of touch with the financial situation of many women, and also the lifestyle of a lot of women I know that not only are they working so many jobs to make ends meet, they have kids, they might be having to take care of family members who have crazy situations going on, health or, you know, just home situations that aren't ideal. I just was like, yeah, she is not gearing this towards that population at all. And those people also need to be able to make healthy choices and have access to preventative health care. The other thing is she got really, really extreme with like making sure that you have time to work out and making life easier for yourself. So if working out is a struggle because you have so much going on, like she talked about, like hiring people to like clean your house or do other tasks that would free up more time for you to work out. And we had a cleaning lady growing up, but I just don't think that everybody can afford a cleaning lady, and that's like what she was talking about. Or she was talking about grocery delivery. She talked about hiring a babysitter for your kids so that you can work out. And I just feel like some of the options that she talked about are financially out of reach for a lot of people. So while I definitely appreciated her ideas in the book, I wish she would have had it for a more broad audience. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the video at that. I hope you guys enjoyed this mini vlog. Next week, I will do a vlog as well, I think, and it will be Dowie-thon. So I'll see you guys later for that. Bye.